All right, so welcome back to episode 5 of the Shooting the Shit series.
Brad decided to upgrade his chair.
I did. It's a lot comfier. I can spin without making a lot of noise now. Yeah. So
I'm still on the hood trap fold up black one. It's okay though.
Well, just like this tablecloth. I mean, some things can't change, right?
You bring the Bobby Shmurda to the channel.
It just adds a little character to this section of the channel.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. So today we're going to talk about sort of protecting the cars and sort of what we do to these cars to make us not cringe every time we hear a ping of a rock or something like that. I mean, we might still cringe.
A ping's pretty good. Imagine if you heard like a gunshot or something, but I had some huge bullet hole looking things in my windshield on the Raptor. Imagine that hitting your bumper. Oh my.
Yeah, that wouldn't be very pleasant.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It would suck.
But there's a variety of different things that I know you put on your car. So what do you do to your Aventador
So in my opinion, any car that's in Calgary that gets driven more so than just the summer months should do a full wrap. If you're going to buy a higher end vehicle, you should totally budget for that. Like that shouldn't even be without a debate. So full wrap, and then I like the coating because it has like a glass finish to it. So I've used both ceramic and P2 at this point. I'm not going to say that I'm biased towards P2 because they help us, but I mean, both of them are still great products. The R8 works just fine, but that just helps with adding like a glass finish to the paint protection film and the paint, and then it makes it a whole lot easier to clean.
Right.
Like Brad and I's cars, the Golf R and the S.S. isn't coated, and it is a pain in the ass to wipe off.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a lot longer.
And it leaves like streaks and stuff. With the coating, it comes right off. Even that washing, you don't even have to get too in depth. I just hit it with pre-soak or soap water if it's not too bad, and on we go.
Yeah,
it's so easy.
And then like the coating is just so much easier to dry. Like drying your car off compared to mine. Like compared to the Audi. The Audi's not coated yet, and it's matte finish. Like it's ridiculous. It takes me forever to dry that.
Just leaves spots and stuff.
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah.
So like to the point where Ben's gonna have to redo the wrap and coat it again.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
I think that's super important. Then obviously I put film on the windshield.
Right.
If you're driving like regular cars, I mean, the cost of replacement of windshield is not too bad.
Yeah.
$300-$400, depending if you got rain sensors and all the new garbage technology that makes the windshield go up to like $1,500 for a Civic.
Yeah.
But on my car, the windshield's $7,000. So it's worth it in my opinion to have that because I can get the warranty with the film and it just gives you an extra thing.
Right.
But I feel like between those three topics, it's super, super important to have when you're driving them more often.
Right.
Yeah. And then obviously having a good quality product behind you could cheap out and use crappy film or crappy coatings and you're gonna get what you pay.
Yeah. So
I believe when it comes to protecting your car, you shouldn't really cheap out.
Yeah, especially when you look at that sounds like to an average person, maybe the film for the windshield sounds excessive, but when you're talking about a $7,000 windshield,
or relatively more,
or more, whatever it is, like the percentage of what that film costs versus what it's going to cost to replace you. If you look at the percentage, it's
not even close.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I did that on the R8. The R8 windshield I had like a package for it. It still cost me $2,100, and it was originally $29.
Okay.
Installed. So it's. Even say your film for your windshield is whatever, $600-$700 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's way better than coughing up $3,000.
Yeah.
So I think it's super important, even if you're not a big driver, even just the maintenance behind just the coating, and even if you don't drive that often, it keeps the integrity of the paint itself because you can never match factory paint. No matter people are good, but it'll never be the same.
Right.
Exactly. So if you gotta like respray something or whatever, no way. Like we just did the front end on my car again, and you can already see like where the film was taking a beating. So if I would have left it on there for more, it eventually would have just been puncturing through the paint.
Right,
So
because the integrity of the film sort
gone.
of degrades at that.
Yeah.
Those spots.
So if you actually look on the R8, excuse me, on certain parts of the front bumper,
Yeah.
it's like when you apply the film, it kind of hides it, but when you pull the film off, you can totally see that it kind of like went through the film. Because I had the film on the front end for 3 years,
Right.
40,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be replacing my front end every year,
Right. Yeah. Fair
or
enough.
depending on how much I drive, whether we tone it down a bit.
Right.
But I think that's, that's excessive on certain cars. Like obviously, again, if you have a daily car or whatever, it won't be too bad. Or you don't have to do that. But on a $500,000 car,
That's just part of the investment.
yeah, the front end, like it's well worth it than not doing it. So
Yeah, and like I feel like that's the case, regardless of if you're driving it in the winter or not. Like obviously the winter, even more so, that's important. But if people are from Calgary or this area of the world of Canada or whatever, it's
Mars. We're from Mars. Where's Calgary? Oh, it's right here. Oh, yeah, I've never seen that one.
For those people that don't know, Calgary, like even in the summer or spring, the spring is basically just rock season. Like it could be warm. Like right now, it's super.
Yeah, and it's
Super warm is relative, but it's really warm compared to what it usually is.
Yeah.
So you'd be tempted to pull out the cars, and you go out, and there's still gravel everywhere on the roads, just
Totally.
from the leftover of when they gravel to give more traction for the snow. Like it's just the leftover, and it's brutal. And until they start sweeping the roads, it's gravel's all over the place, and it spits up on the cars all the time. So yeah, even if you're just having your summer toy, even if you want to pull it out that month early just to extend your driving season, because your driving season is only
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
So if you want to extend it a little bit, you should just cover the whole car. Like
I would honestly for the difference in cost. Like front end's X and a full car is Y, but you're gonna save in the long run in terms of damage to the vehicle, in my opinion. Even if you only do a front end and you're driving, there's still a probability that you can get chips on your door or on the sides.
Yeah.
So I vouch by that. Every car that I'll ever buy goes through the same process: dealership, full wrap, coating, windshield protection. And I regret not doing coating the rims, but we will be doing that on this year's when I do the tire swaps.
Yeah.
I will get the rims coated as well.
Yeah, because we spent at least half an hour on the rims alone, and they're still dirty.
And it doesn't even look like you did a whole lot. So, but I think it's super key, and it's a huge component just into the automotive world, right? It's always expanding, and products are always coming out, and
Yeah, like
there's
newer technology. And
there's a reason
like
behind it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right, so that's a huge thing, and obviously it's a cost. So you need to learn you need to budget that into when you're buying, if it's a thing.
Yeah.
And then if not, then I wouldn't cheap out on it. Just at least build it into your finance, or put a little bit less down and put that into your car, because it's super important.
Yeah, for sure. It's well worth it, like you said before, for the cost of what the car is, and especially if you look at your cars as an investment, like real car guys, if they're going to buy a summer toy, they'll be very particular about the front end, especially being in Calgary. If you're buying an Alberta car,
Totally.
you need to be very careful when you're looking through the dealership or at a new car or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure. 'Cause you don't
Exactly. And depending on the lighting, if it's parked in direct sunlight, you might not see the
certain specs,
certain things or whatever. And then if it moves into the shadow the next day or whatever, like sales guys are smart. I see you.
Oh yeah, no doubt, right? They strategically place everything in the right spots. Let's not kid anybody.
Exactly.
The reason why the Raptor goes here and the Mustang goes there. Oh yeah, space? No, they have retail space for it.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Exactly. But no, it's definitely it's a big factor out here. And
Yeah, comparing it to like California, right, or wherever, like Arizona, people can't really relate to that.
Yeah, like I just from like what I've seen, I haven't spent a lot of time in that car scene down south or anything like that, but I feel like a lot there, people just think of the aesthetics of like wrapping a car with a vinyl or like a stealth wrap or something like that, just for the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it can be both, but it's mostly the protection.
Yeah, it's the necessity behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
We're both actually going to stealth wrap our cars. I'm hoping Ben's going to stealth wrap it next week, right, Ben? He goes, it's going down. He's currently a ghost. We just have him on like voice shadow in the back there. You have no idea where he is. He's gonna peep his head beside Stitch real quick. Yeah, there you go.
There he is.
There he is. He's working hard.
Yeah.
And then Brad's gonna pretty much twin the R8.
Yeah, pretty much. The S6 will go stealth, and you know the S6 and the R8 underneath the wrap, they're both the same color. They're both like Mythos black.
Mythos black.
Mythos black.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna look really cool. So they'll both be stealth. Both have black wheels. Both have red brakes. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be V8, V10. So they're very close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're both close. And then you said you want to leave the roof gloss.
Yeah. So
have some accents.
Exactly. Yeah. Because like I don't like having the contrast with the stealth.
Yeah.
It's like with the R8 now, you kind of see it, but it's the stealth or the matte finish on the most of the body, and then the gloss accents on the like air ducts on the side, and then the roof is gloss as well.
Totally.
So for the S6, probably leave like the door handles gloss and the roof gloss.
Yeah.
Something like that.
See, the big difference though between the R8 and the S6 is the R8 is vinyl.
Yeah.
So being that it's just wrapped in vinyl, people might have a misconception that it protects the vehicle as well, but it really doesn't. It's like placing a piece of paper on you.
Yeah, for
versus
sure.
the S6 will be an actual PPF film.
Yeah.
Which changes the look of the car completely, but also protects it at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And like even to that extent too, like this is like it's a colored matte vinyl, so it doesn't have like the shine that the stealth will have.
Yeah.
And even like from what Ben was saying, when you put the coating on the stealth, it even gives it a little bit, I don't know if shine's the right word, but more of like a satiny finish.
Yeah.
So you see the contours a lot better.
Totally.
So it's just a cool look because it's not matte. Like it's.
No, it's not.
It's like it's
cool.
I'd
say satin for sure.
Satin for sure. So I think that looks awesome on colors. Like I can't wait to see the Golf in that style.
Yeah, the Golf's gonna be cool. Hopefully, maybe even do stage 2.
Oh. Yeah.
Matt Black. Oh, I was talking to Martin. Whenever I was there, I spent the whole day at the shop. Yeah. I was the shop mascot. Brad goes, yeah, when I was leaving Lulu's when you called, I was sick. I was leaving the shop. I was there
I was done dinner.
I was there from home. Dude, from 1 to like 6:30. But in all fairness, we got everything sorted that we needed.
Yeah.
But he was saying that he could give me an intercooler for really good money and all. And then the guy who tuned my car said he would throw in the DSG tune.
Right.
So to go to stage 2, it only cost me really maybe a rack.
Yeah.
$1,000. So I think I might foresee that option as soon as I get my daily car.
Yeah.
I'll leave it here.
That'd be pretty sick. Because what did you say power wise?
It goes up to like 430 or something like that. And then 420, and then like 460 or 470 pounds of torque.
That's ridiculous.
It's a fast little car.
It's a quick car.
It's zippy as heck. So
yeah.
I actually went and got the paint sticks, which is also probably another very important thing to have when you buy a vehicle or you just own a vehicle, is a touch-up paint. Mm-hmm. So I bought the paint stick for that car because you can see some of the specs already in the film that were prior when I drove it from Vancouver. So I'll get Ben to just dab it all and touch it up, and then that way when he applies the stealth, it kind of just hides. Mm-hmm. Goes from there. And I got a couple of things on the door handle, which is a pain in the ass, but I think that's super important. Yeah. Having the paint samples to every car. Mm-hmm. The R8 is pretty easy if you just call Audi, but the Aventador is... well, yeah, I need some paint samples. Yeah, well, you're going to have to go and get it made by this shop because that's the only place you can get it. You got to bring the whole car.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, because Ben was like, from Lamborghini, we'll send him the gas cap. I was like, no, I told him, why don't you just send him the gas cap? Take it off. And send it to him. He's like, well, dude, no, he needs like the full car because the gas cap's not enough to like create the color or whatever he was saying. Is like it wouldn't work. Yeah, Lamborghini paint is pretty crazy. If you talk to Max, the way that they apply the layering of the paint, nobody else in the world can do it. So like if you were to take it to a body shop, they will never be able to replicate the way that Lamborghini applies their paint layers to the car. So that's why, in my opinion, wrapping the vehicles and like you need to do that front end, yeah. But I still think full end, and like I double wrapped on certain areas on the front end, and we'll see how it treats by the end of summer and what other cars we add. But if I drive it again in the winter, I'll probably double wrap again, like the front bumper or whatever.
Right.
Because there's no point.
No.
For a little cost to like be screwed for the rest of its life, essentially.
Yeah, because like you said, it's not like any other car. You can just get the front bumper resprayed and it come close. Like it wouldn't even remotely come close.
Yeah, apparently the one guy's pretty good. The one that they send all their work to.
Okay.
But still, it would never be the same.
And especially your color too, because it has like, it seems like it has so many different
depth
levels to it.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking like a white or a black car, okay, maybe that's easier. Even some of the grays, I feel like that'd be easier.
Yeah.
But when you're talking like a blue or a red or orange or whatever with that many layers, I feel like that'd be
very noticeable.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's that's something that needs to happen for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then like I said, the coating aspect is just super easy on maintenance. Like we're gonna do the exhaust pipes on all the cars.
Yep.
To help with like the residue. The Golf doesn't really leave any, but the bigger engines.
Yeah, that's surprising. Like
did you see my tips? They still look
they still look fine.
Yeah.
But the S6 was covered after like the first drive, just because of the deposit. Like,
yeah.
I think it's like bigger turboed engines. I think they.
It's a V8, right? It burns more fuel. It runs richer.
Yeah.
And you're pushing more power.
Exactly.
Right. So you run way richer. I don't think I've ever seen a bigger Audi engine that doesn't leave.
Yeah, and same with like BMW V8s and all that.
Jazz.
They all do it.
They all do it. Yeah.
Yeah. For even some of the trucks, like the older trucks with the V8s, they all do it. It's just the way the engines work, I think.
Yeah, totally.
With the bigger displacements in that, but yeah, the coating, I put it on the S6, and yeah, so far you just wipe it off, done. You don't need to like scrub it out.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You just take a microfiber to it, pretty much.
Exactly.
And it just takes it off. It's pretty sick, actually. So we highly recommend it, in our opinion.
Yeah, just for the ease of use, like
totally.
Yeah, so much easier.
We're gonna be doing it today.
Yeah.
Well, JK, because the video comes out on Thursday. But today is Wednesday. Today's Monday when we're recording it, so we're gonna do it today, March 8th, or is it the 8th?
Death.
Yeah, it's the 8th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, March 8th will be. I'm gonna get my hands a little dirty too. See how that turns out.
Well, what were we doing earlier today? We're scrubbing the undercarriage.
Oh, the undercarriage
of your
car?
car?
So the undercarriage of the car is actually pretty sick because it's like it's fully like felted essentially, and like you can't actually access the car. So it actually really protects the vehicle. A lot of people are like, oh, aren't you worried about it, or you coating it or whatever? And you know what? I might coat it because it whatever just makes it easier for just the scrubbing aspect. But we just took 2 brushes with soap and water, and it got pretty much everything off.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, and you couldn't even tell, really. Like, there definitely was salt stains on there.
Yeah.
So 100%, if there was no undercarriage protection, it would be a concern.
Yeah.
For, like, driving in the winter, right? Everyone's like, so, like, oh, how do you drive the car in the winter? Well, the car itself is pretty much bulletproof underneath.
Yeah, for sure. And even when you look at, like, the internals, like, I think Chris from Unobtainium, when he was here, and he was like checking it all out. He was like, "Yeah, show me one piece of iron on that car."
Yeah,
it's all carbon, it's all aluminum. Like,
yeah, totally. So people are so weary about the usability. I think the biggest problem in winter driving a car in terms of protection is A, people sliding into you.
Yeah.
And B, the rocks.
Well,
A, you can eliminate the rock problem by protecting your vehicle the proper way, and then B, bad drivers is bad drivers. They'll hit you in the summertime, and they'll hit you in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're gonna live your life like waiting or trying to avoid those people, like you're never going to
never take your car out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a huge thing. But like, I guess would you say you're more worried about your lip in the winter, or is that just sort of an all-around thing because it's so low?
I'd say it's just an all-around thing because it's so low. I mean, I'm not driving the car when it's like 2.5 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Or going into like areas where there's that deep of snow. So reality is most of the times the roads are relatively cleared out.
Right. Yeah.
So the lip's not that big of a concern. I mean, you'll hit it wherever if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is definitely the rocks and the people. So you got to be very cognitive of your surroundings. You can't just drive these cars and just hope that everyone's gonna get out of your way.
Yeah, because the other thing too is that I've noticed is some people will actually get distracted by your own car.
Yeah,
so they could be looking at you or looking at your car, not paying attention to what their car is doing and where they're going.
Totally.
Like I've seen that a few times. It's like, buddy's just staring at me. It's like,
he's going straight.
Like, look at the road, man. Like,
just boom. Officer comes, sir, why did you rear end this guy? Man, I got distracted by this blue Lamborghini. It was his fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Insurance company's gonna love that.
Yeah.
That excuse.
That won't fly.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing. And then, to answer a lot of people's questions in terms of like how I drive, or people think I'm crazy for driving it. It's all-wheel drive. I've got the best winter tires on it. It's fully protected. I replace, as you can hear in the back, I replace the film as it gets beat up.
Yeah.
So it never damages
it.
it.
And you keep it clean all the time. Like very seldom have I come in here and it's just been sitting dirty.
Yeah, I think maybe 2 days, 3 days at most, but it definitely gets sprayed down, so I don't leave anything on it.
Exactly. So if you're doing that, like,
you can definitely do it.
Yeah, like if you put that into perspective with like the everyday car that doesn't get a wash for the whole winter,
that's probably worse.
Exactly.
On straight paint.
Yeah,
that's worse.
Exactly. Like that's why even the dailies, like I'll still go to that level of protection because, well, like it's my vehicle. I don't want it to look bad when I'm done with it. Like,
totally, and I mean it's still a sick daily. Like we're talking about like an S.S.S and a Golf R and whatever else, a Ford Raptor. I'm hoping to add here. Like those are still like high-end vehicles, and I think the camera just died.
Definitely did. All right, so we're back.
Surprise!
The camera battery died, so had to swap that out pretty quick here, but it's all good.
Luckily, the kid was fully prepared with a charged battery. I might not be the best cameraman, but I'm the most prepared cameraman.
I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, it worked out. That's good.
I don't even remember what we were talking about, but we'll pretend like we knew, and the transition was soft as can be. But I think it was about like the daily cars and how how we protect them and stuff, and how like it doesn't really matter if it's our daily or not, that we'll still treat it the same way.
Yeah, for sure. Like regardless of the caliber of vehicle, either like even a work truck, like it's to your benefit to put some sort of protection on the front of it.
Yeah.
Just for resale, but also just like for your own vehicle to look better, right?
Totally.
Like if the film gets beat up, you just replace it, put new film on, it looks like a new vehicle.
New vehicle, even for like resale purposes and all that jazz. And speaking of work trucks, Ben and Brad are planning on cutting out the stealth.
Yeah. So like that could be cool. That's something I really want to test out and really want to try is like if you have it would have to be a pretty simple logo, I think.
Not very complex.
Yeah, not too complex, but we'll play around with it. But like cutting that out in stealth. So then say you have a blue truck.
Yep.
And then on the side of the bed or whatever, you have your company's name, but in like matte blue. So it's super subtle, but I think it'll still be legible and all that.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to that. It's that could turn out sweet.
Could look cool. We're gonna test it on Brad's dad's work truck, and then we're gonna test it on mine.
Then we'll try it on yours.
When I get mine,
should be good. Like I think that'll be a really cool thing because some of the company wraps can be pretty tacky.
Or the vinyl.
Like the printed ones.
I think it looks weird.
Unless it's like a really good shop that does it, then I think
it looks tacky.
Yeah.
I just think it looks tacky. This would be a subtle way of showing your brand.
Yeah.
And still maintaining the integrity of the look of the truck or the work vehicle.
Yeah.
And still being able to, write it off essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you consider like wrapping the entire truck in like a regular PPF, then the stealth logo, then at the end of the day, once your lease is up or whatever it is, you just
pull it off,
peel the whole thing off, and it's good as new.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because like the other thing that I've heard of happening is putting like a vinyl logo or whatever on the truck from day one. Then 5 years later, when your lease is up, you peel it off and
takes paint.
It takes paint, or the sun had faded the whole rest
so
of the
then-
truck,
yeah.
but not the logo.
Right.
Then it looks like
The logo's kind of like embedded in.
permanently on the truck.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
Have fun, bud.
Yeah. So I've definitely heard of that happening too. So that would avoid that for sure.
No kidding.
So yeah, that's another benefit of PPF too. Like I think that's also a big reason why California does it is like the UV sun protection.
Totally.
Same thing with tinting. Like yeah, it looks cooler, but it also like protects your skin and all that.
Yeah, and the inside of the car, like the leather.
The leather, yeah,
and all that
doesn't,
jazz.
doesn't like the dashboard doesn't get all like gray if it's originally black and stuff like that.
Totally cracks or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's definitely a big portion of it too, and even for anywhere, like the sun's strong everywhere. So
Yeah, well, more so even here because we're at higher altitude.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like you look at Kelowna. Kelowna's practically a desert. So
Yeah, well, so is
yeah, God,
low, hot as hell.
yeah, for sure. But no, that's a little insight into protecting the cars and why we do it and why we'll continue to do it going forward.
Absolutely.
Regardless of the car, and we'll end up making a few of them look pretty different, pretty cool. So
Adding some spice.
yeah, for sure. So looking forward to it. Thank you. We will chat with you guys next week.
Yeah, the next episode. Peace out, guys.